Hello, everybody. It's me again, Jared here with Eat Press Nation, and I am so excited to be with you guys today. We're gonna have some good fun because fall is here, and I think it was last week or the week before we showed you guys how to do some spooky table confetti. Well, today I'm gonna be showing you how to actually design your own fall elements. Now we have two that I'm gonna be showing you, and then once we get going, maybe I'll take a user's choice and we'll try that. The whole point of today's tutorial is really just to get you get your design muscles some exercise. A lot of times we'll be looking, and I do this myself. I do stuff myself all the time, and I'll be looking for a shape or a design element, and I'll go into the silhouette store. I'll go to Shutterstock, and I'll be like, okay. And then I look at something, I'm like, dude, could I do that? I think I could. And I'm like, and I'm in a conundrum. I'm like, do I pay for this or do I just make it myself? And I know some of you guys are like me in that sense, to where you're like, maybe you have something broken at home. You're like, should I buy a new cabinet or fix that one? Do I need a new table or can I just like restain and finish? I know everybody's been going ham on the DIY projects during this whole quarantine situation. So today we're going to be doing that. I'm going to be showing you guys how to DIY your own fall graphic elements, which is going to be hopefully fun for you, but really it's going to get you to, again, flex those design muscles so you could try this. Now, if you're watching the replay of this, feel free to follow along. I'm going to be working in Silhouette Studio, and I do that on purpose for two reasons. One, we have a lot of Silhouette users out there, but two, if you could do it in Silhouette Studio, you could do it on Illustrator, CorelDRAW, SignMaster, Inkscape. Like, you could do it anywhere. So Silhouette Studio really is like a strong base. It's a strong, platform to where if you could do it here, you could for sure do it everywhere else. So that's why we're using Silhouette Studio today. But if you have CorelDRAW, if you have Inkscape or SignMaster, Illustrator, feel free to open up a window and follow along. We're gonna have some fun today. Oh man, see, I didn't even realize I messed up my titles. There you go. Well, I'll just mention these really quick. HPN Creators is the hashtag if you guys want to share your work online. That's super cool. You could. I always recommend searching the hashtag because there's lots of great inspiration there. But then also when you're posting, share it with the hashtag too. It's really cool. And then of course, the HPN Creators group, so rad. So much cool stuff going on in there. A lot of people showing off their work, which is, again, it's really helpful when you're designing stuff, or if you want to know, like, hey, what are these people charging for their t-shirts? How much should I be charging for mine? If you have any questions about being a creator, especially in the heat press world, definitely want to check out the Facebook group. Lots of friendly and helpful people in there. And I'm just checking in here on the comments. We got Francesca coming in from NYC, Donna Howard coming in, Jesse Gibson representing West Virginia. Very cool, good to see you. Donna's coming from Wisconsin. We got Raisha coming from California. Oh, fellow Californian here. Limo's watching from Trinidad. What? Made it international this morning. And, Vivian saying she always struggles with that. Yeah, same. Yep. A very chilly Wisconsin. You know what? It's overcast outside, and it was like 70 degrees or so when I left the house. You don't understand. I've been praying for that weather, all right? So I'll take a little chill any day right now. Okay, sorry, just real quick. I live in Southern California, LA County. I'm right on the edge of LA County, right? 120 degrees. We almost set a record this year in Pomona, California, where I'm living right now. 120 degrees. That's like Vegas weather. It was crazy. I'm ready for the chill. We got Great Falls, Montana. Ken coming in. Nicole's coming in from New York. Yes. Chenga Williams coming in from Denver. Nice. Amanda's repping Austin. And let's see. I'm opening up my YouTube comments because I don't want to bog down my computer too much. So I got YouTube right here on the phone. Let's see the comments here. Oh, right there. We got Tabitha saying, hey. Don saying, hey. Let's see. We got Orville coming in from Milford, Ohio. Very cool. Don from Vegas. Yeah, you guys send us your crazy hot weather. Ramon repping San Diego, my dude. Very cool. Yes, we got some Wisconsin friends. We got Jennifer from Tulsa. Good friend Terry Johnson's tuning in. What's up, Terry? So good to see you joining us today. All right, so I can go on forever, honestly, just talking, but you guys tuned in because you want to see a tutorial, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So give me a second to adjust myself here. Make sure that I have what I'm supposed to have on screen. And yes, and I did it right to where hopefully I don't believe I lost audio. You guys who have seen a couple of these episodes, you guys know I'm not the best at that. Okay, so I'm going to go over here real quick, and you can see my whole mess. Today we're going to start with a maple leaf. Now this is like and I'm using this for reference. This is not a tracing episode. All right, this is a reference. And it's okay to use things as reference, you know, from Google Images, but don't trace things from Google Images if you don't have the license for it. We're just going to reference what a maple leaf looks like. Because leaves, to me, fall is leaves. And shout out to, if there's any Canadians watching, you guys have a cool leaf. I believe this is the Canadian maple leaf, but we are just going to use it as a template for our leaf. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit to my workspace. Going to keep this close. And this is how we're going to create our maple leaf. One thing I like to do is I like to count the points, and I'll make this bigger for a second. Oops. I'll make this bigger for a second. I like to count the points on here, right? And here's what I'm not going to take the time to draw out all of these. I think there's something like 15 points on here. I'm just going to count the major points. 1, 2, 3. And then what's cool about this is it repeats. This is the exact same shape, more or less, right? So we're not going to do all of these. We're going to use our replicate tool or our copy and paste to do our own thing. So first things first, you got to select the right tool for this. I'm going to select my polygon tool. Polygraph tool. It's going to see if I'm lying or not. I'm just kidding. And okay, you notice how it's kind of free floating. If you want it to lock in place, like to be like at a right angle, not a right angle, but like, you know, just perfectly level, hold the Alt key on your keyboard and it'll lock it. So you're free to draw the size, right? And it's going to draw from center. If you hold the Alt key, it'll lock it, and then you can just kind of rotate it. It'll lock it in position. So you can just rotate sides without having to worry about it coming out crooked. Okay, so I have a polygon here. This 5 sides. This is my pentagon, right? Didn't do that great in geometry. And I'm just going to convert this to path. Now I'm going to convert it to path so that way it could be locked in place. Because watch, if I don't convert it to path, I could still change how many sides it has. I only need it to have 5 sides. So I'm going to adjust that slider there. If you ever need to draw a triangle, just drop it down to 3 sides. You got a triangle. 4 does a square. But 5, I'm looking because I need a 5-sided, 5-point thing. I'm going to right click on the line and I'm going to convert it to path. And by the way, if you have any questions during this process, please feel free, drop them in the comments. Drop it in the comments below. We got, oh, Tati is saying hello from Quebec, Canada. Oh, see, we got your leaf. I borrowed your guys' leaf. Hope you don't mind. All right, so yeah, if you guys have any questions at any point during this journey, please feel free to drop it in the comments. Again, I'm using Silhouette Studio because it's just so darn easy to use. And again, feel free to do this in Illustrator, CorelDRAW, whatever you got. But for the sake of today's lesson, we are doing this in Silhouette Studio. Okay, there's 2 things you could do in Studio, and this is the case in most vector graphic design softwares, is that you can either double-click on the line to go into point editing mode, or if you're here, you can just click, there's this little point node, I think they call it, nodes, points, same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, so you see how there's these points? I'm going to use, see how there's 3 top points? I'm going to use these 1, 2, 3 top points. And so now I need to create a dip in the middle. So I'm going to add a point here, and I'm just going to bring it in, do the same over here, add it. It's kind of looking like a star. Don't want it to be a star. Oops. So I'm just going to move things up a little bit. Move it up a little bit. And this is where your creativity can totally take over. You could morph this star, this leaf to be whatever you want. For example, I want this to be a curve because I kind of don't want it to, I don't want my leaf too pointy. I want it to be a curve. And I hope I'm not, no disrespect to any Canadians out there. I hope I'm not, I don't mean to desecrate your guys' leaf, but you know, we're just gonna kind of make this cool. And so when I click make curve, this is gonna look different. I'm gonna hit undo. So this point, it's just a point. There's no way to edit it. As I drag it, it's gonna, you know, affect the angle between these two other points, but nothing cool is happening to this point that you see right here on screen. So what you could do is you could make it a curve. And when I click make it a curve, now it has these two little handles that allow me to adjust the curve extending from this point. So if I want this side of the curve to be a little more sharp, I can. If I want this part of the curve to be a little more wide, I can. And then this one, I can also make it a curve to kind of control how it kind of comes off there. And it's not perfectly symmetrical, which is okay. It doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical because it's a leaf. Leaves, well, this one is perfectly symmetrical, but you know, in real life, leaves they're not quite that cute. And so now, another thing, if I don't want this to be a curve anymore, I'm just going to drag the handle end back to the point and leave it there. Now when I grab it, it's just going to be a good big point. It's getting a little closer. It's getting a little closer. I'm just recreating this part of the leaf for now. And there we go. We're going to double click. And then I'm going to just bring these, oops. If you don't, oh man, grab it properly. Like if you grab off to the side, it's just going to move it. So make sure you click on the point. And I'm going to bring it in a little bit. And then this side, I'm going to bring it in a little bit. And now is where I could get, like me, I could go forever just fine-tuning this, but because we're in a tutorial, I'm not going to waste all your guys' time. We're going to get right to it. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to fill this in now with red. All right, it's not perfect. And again, we're doing this, you know, there's a little bit of a time constraint here today. There we go. Okay, real quick, sorry, I do see someone coming in with a customer service question. 800-215-0894, that's our number. I haven't been notified of any phone outages today, so just, now there might be a hold time for anybody who's trying to call us in right now. That's been the case since quarantine. It's just, we've been having long hold times, so just, please just go ahead, if you you know, if you need to get a hold of somebody, if you want to pre-order, you can definitely do that. But go ahead and just hang out there on hold. I'm sure somebody will be there to answer your call very soon. Okay, so we got this, but now how are we turning this into our maple leaf? We're gonna go over here to our replicate panel, and you can just duplicate this, right? And now I have another one right here. Another easy thing to do is just same thing. You can just copy, paste, whatever. And then if you're really quick like me, you can just hit Control-C, Control-V. All right. So now I'm going to rotate this to kind of match the leaf. And then I'm going to drag it down and bring it in just a little bit. And so I can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm going to color this a slightly different shade of red. Actually, I'll do it like that so you guys can better see what I'm doing. Control-C, Control-V, right click, and we're going to flip horizontally. Oh, what? And now I'm going to do something here. I'm going to kind of get it more or less where it should be. You see how right there it kind of snaps to the bottom? If you don't want it to snap or you want to just be 100% sure, you could just hold the shift key and click both items. And then now we're going to center them horizontally. I love having this tool, align middle. And that's it, right? Now, oh yeah, sorry. Now I'm going to group them by hitting Control-G or right-click, group. And now I'm going to center these to my middle piece. And it looks like they already were. Cool. Okay, now there is this bottom point here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to get a square. It doesn't have to be perfect, all right, because I'm going to just edit this, right? I'm going to bring it up a little bit in the center. And these points, I'm going to bring them in a little bit, right? And so you can see what I did. I'm going to fill this in with another shade of red. Okay, so this more or less looks like it. Oh, I do want it to be centered with this. There we go. Actually, let's just center everything together. There we go. And now here's where things get cool. Where you can our leaf is going to take shape. We're going to open up our modify panel. I'm going to select all of my shapes, and I'm going to hit weld. What weld is going to do is anything that's overlapping, these are all going to become one shape. And you see how there's a little gap in the middle? Well, that gap's going to stay there. I'm going to weld it, and whoa, I think I have a leaf. It's not the prettiest leaf. It's actually a little bit of a scary leaf, but it's okay. I'm sure you guys on your own leaves, you guys can do this too. Nicola is asking what program is this done in. I'm using Silhouette Studio today, but you could definitely follow along in whatever you got. Corel Draw. Now, if you want to get rid of these in the middle, in Silhouette Studio, the process, you're going to hold the Shift key and just draw a square around those little things and hit delete. Boom. Gone. Other programs, that process might look a little bit different. And then we need our stem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw our stem. You can draw it however you like. And I'm just going to like give it a little bit of dimension here. So I'm going to bring it in a little bit. Bring it in just a little bit. There we go. And we're going to color this. Oops. And now you see how it snaps to the center there. That looks good to me. I'm going to join everything so I can have one solid piece by welding it. And there we go. Your maple leaf is done. Now this maple leaf is kind of ugly. It looks almost like if a punk rocker with a mohawk was turned to the side. But I'm really curious to see how your guys is going to come out. Of course, if I would have taken a little more time, and trust me, I could have spent all day doing this, just kind of adjusting the crown on the first piece that I did, then obviously these are just copy and pasted, so the other ones would have looked a lot better. But you see here, now I have a leaf for my very own fall element. I'm going to check the comments here. I'm going to imagine that you guys are applauding me, so just kidding. Okay. All right, let's check the questions here. I am going to go back over to your questions because that's what I'm here for. All right. So really quick, not a lot of questions coming in on YouTube, but if you guys have any questions, please feel free to drop it in the comments. Even if you're watching a replay, you can drop it in the comments, and we'll be sure to check that out. Okay, here we go. Penny says Houston, Texas is warm and perfect. I'm ready to get rid of the warm, but you can have it though. You can have all the warm. Alrighty. Okay. Oh, check it out. Nico's watching all the way from Guam. You know what, Nico? That might be an issue, actually, with why the telephone number is not working. I know that the way our phone system's set up, some international callers have had a little trouble getting through. If that's the case, I'm going to give everybody, because you all, this is not like secret information, you could try calling in to our direct line, which is, it's not toll-free, but it's area code 714-256-1818. So if you're calling international, you might not be able to use the toll-free, but it's 714-256-1818. Guarantee you we got people on the phones right now. Alrighty. Nicola's asking, what shape was used to create the leaf? Oh, so to create the leaf, we did a 5-sided polygon. And if you want, you can just watch the replay to see how we did that. But I'll switch over to the screen really quick and show you. So I'm not going to do the whole tutorial again. But basically what we did, for anyone who showed up late, we just did one of these puppies. Oh, oops. We did one of these puppies. And it's actually pretty easy. Convert to path. And then what we started to do, we just started kind of just editing a little bit, you know, blah, blah, blah. For the full recap of how we did that, you can just watch this again. We're on YouTube and Facebook, so just, you know, check back in as soon as we're done. Okay, so there's our reference maple leaf, and here is our maple leaf. And if you guys are following along at home, All right, so check it out. Oh, you can see this is my practice. All right, I do practice before I come on here live. So this, and I don't know why it has this weird checkered background. Maybe this is a punk rock pumpkin. This pumpkin's gonna take a little more work. So actually these two, I'm just gonna move these out of the way for a second. This pumpkin's gonna take a little bit more work. So I hope you guys are ready, but this is gonna be a fun tutorial. And honestly, we're flexing our design muscles today. So you guys can try this. It's gonna get you familiar with the different vector graphic editing tools, functions, features. Like we're flexing our muscles today, you guys, and I really hope this encourages somebody. That way you guys can see how quick and easy it is to design your own things. I would love to see you guys design stuff. So I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee here. Oh yeah. Good coffee. All right. So we're gonna recreate this pumpkin, and to do this, we are going to use some ovals. You can kind of see there's an oval here in the main section, but we're going to do this in our own oval. And really quick, I'm just gonna, there we go. I just want to take up the whole thing. Okay. All right, so we're gonna make this with some ovals. Gonna select my ellipse tool. And you can experiment with different widths and shapes of ovals. If you guys want a really chubby pumpkin, you can do kind of, some wider ovals. I'm feeling like this one right here is gonna work. Okay, boom. Next step, we're gonna go to our internal, so offset, internal offset, you could use either one. I love this tool because sometimes if I want to add a quick background to a shape or a text, I'll just go to the offset tool. Really easy to use. And then it's going to default me right about here. This is where you're going to determine how thick the line is, how thick the border is on your pumpkin. I don't want it too thick or thin. I don't know. Let's try it. We're experimenting with this one here. I don't know if you caught a glimpse of my practice shape. All right, so I've already done this before. Right? You don't want somebody who's never done this before. Apply. All right, now here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna fill in my center shape with the color of my pumpkin, which is orange, and then my outer shape. Oops, the outer shape. You can make it black. You could make it green. I'm not sure what pumpkins look like in your heart of hearts. You can go to advanced options. You can make any little slower. You can make it any whatever, however you want to do it. I'm gonna make mine a super dark green. It probably looks black on your screen, but it's a really dark green for me. Boom, and this is our shape. Now I'm going to group these together, and you can do Control G, or you just right click it and hit group. Same thing. And what grouping does is, even though it's two separate shapes, they're gonna move together with me. So I'm gonna click on this. And I'm going to make another one. Copy, paste. Of course, the faster way is to just Control C, Control V. But on my second shape, I'm going to make it just a little bit wider. I'm going to drag it out a little bit. Now, what you don't want to do is you don't want to have your proportions or the aspect ratio locked. You see this up here? If I lock it, even when I grab on this, oh no, never mind. That's different. Good. It's freeform. All right, you're going to make this one just a little bit wider. Then you're going to Control C, Control V. You're going to get another one, and you're going to make this one a little bit wider. Now, here's where it gets fun. You can experiment with the shapes. Like, how wide do you want the next one? That's totally up to you. I'm going to make this one a little fat on the back end. All right. And we're going to send this to the... Now, here's where you get to play with layer ordering. All right. The way I like my pumpkins to look is I like the center circle to be up front. So I'm going to, right here, bring to front. Now it's up front. Now this one, it needs to go to the back. So we're going to send it to back. And so you see how layer ordering affects the appearance of it. And we're going to space them however looks good. And then importantly, we're going to select them all. And you guys, these alignment tools, please keep your stuff aligned. It just makes it look so much better. So now I'm going to select these two, right? And instead of redrawing that all over again, I'm just going to copy and paste. Yes. And since we're going in the different direction, I'm just going to rotate them. By the way, if you hold the shift key while rotating, it will lock at, you know, at the right. I think it's like 45, 90, like, you know, the main angles. So I'm going to lock those in. Right, and I'm going to just send them back a little bit. Yep, right under where I'm supposed to be. Okay, now if you want this to be perfectly symmetrical, you can. Otherwise, you know, this one might be in a little bit. This one could be a little further out. It's not perfectly symmetrical. I mean, in real life, pumpkins aren't. So, I mean, feel free to mess around with this however you want. It's not going to really make a difference. But if you wanted to get super technical about everything being perfectly symmetrical, right? What we're going to do is we're going to align these all in the middle first, and I'm going to pause for a second to see what questions are coming in, just in case. I always forget to check for questions. Okay. No, looks like we're doing good, actually. Cool. Cool. Any questions? Is your Sawgrass printers in the 1000? Yes, the Sawgrass SG 1000 and SG 500 are both some of our sublimation printers. You can definitely check those out on our website. Celestine's asking, where do I get the Silhouette program? You know, that's a great question. You get it for free when you purchase a Silhouette cutter. So give me a second here. Whenever you get your Silhouette cutter, it's going to send you to silhouetteamerica.com/setup. It's going to ask you some questions, and then you don't have to register your new machine, but you should. And then you just select your machine, blah, 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 download, install software, boom. Silhouette Studio is available for free for Mac or Windows. It's only going to cut if you have a Silhouette cutter, though. So if you don't have a Silhouette cutter, you'll probably want to use something else. But that's why we're doing this in Silhouette, though. If you could do it in this software, you could do it in Illustrator, CorelDRAW, Inkscape, SignMaster, so many other programs. This is just kind of to get the, I guess, the theory of it, and then apply this to whatever software program you got. But this is also another reason why I do love Silhouette cutters, because it comes with this free, really rad software. Okay, oh, what's up? Boy, Steve coming in from NYC. All right, we're going to get back to our tutorial. So I'm going to select these two, and I'm just going to group them using Control-G, or you could right-click, group. And then the outer ones, I'm going to bring this one in just a little bit. The outer ones, I'm also going to group the outer ones. So now when I select them all and I align them by the center, they're going to be perfectly symmetrically distributed. And now my pumpkin's looking like a pumpkin. Here's where the fun part comes, because if I send this to cut, check this out. If you send this to cut, you see all the overlaps? All right, we don't want those overlaps. I want to just send the orange to cut and the black to, or the dark green to cut. So here's where we get to mess with our shape a little bit. Let's scoot that up so I can have a little space down here. Actually, I don't need it really this big. All right, I'm going to select everything. I'm going to copy and paste it. Doing a lot of copy and paste today. All righty. So now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ungroup. Oh, yeah. I'm going to select them all. I'm going to ungroup everything. Ungroup. And just to make sure, ungroup. So for however many groups are in there, just keep ungrouping until the ungroup button is gray. And now I'm going to select just the outer shapes, right? So you could just draw a line and grab just the outer shapes, not the inner shapes. The outer shapes, I'm going to go to my modify panel, because I want to combine the background, because the background is made up of all these individual, shapes, but I don't want a bunch of individual shapes. I want them now to cut as one single piece. So I'm going to weld them together. And so if I bring it up to the front, you'll see that now I just have one solid piece and a bunch of these. So undo. Now I'm going to send it to back just to kind of prove my point. And so now here's where the fun part comes in. We're going to ungroup everything here as well. And I'm just going to hit Control-Shift-G a couple times. Control-Shift-G does the same thing as right-click ungroup. Control-Shift-G. Now I'm going to combine these two, but I'm going to make them a compound path. And I actually don't need this shape at all. Delete that. So now with this shape, I want to cut it out of these two. So holding the Shift key, I'm going to select both of them, and I'm going to subtract. And I want to make these a path, so that way they can just stay together. There's one. And I can do this separately. Select them both and subtract, and then do it here. Select them both, subtract. But now I want these also to be the same, right? Here's what's cool. Don't need this, don't need this, or this. I'm gonna select all of these. Oh no, these are supposed to be a group or a compound path. There we go. Gonna select all of these, and if you wanted them to just center them all together, you just hit that. I'm gonna group them, and what do you know? I have my pumpkin shape. Now it's important for it to just be two shapes, because now when we send it to cut, there's no overlapping Olympic sign. It's just going to have two simple shapes that when I layer them, it's going to look like a pumpkin. Now here comes the stem, and we're going to do pretty much what we did for our leaf. This has a curly stem. I mean, okay, real quick. The curly stem's kind of hard because you can get your pencil tool, set your smoothing to like 100%, and you can just kind of like draw a little curly, and then go over to your line style and just bump that thickness up. If you don't like the shape of your curly, you can go into node editing, and you can adjust the curve of your shape, make your little curly vine stem, like, make it however you want, whatever's gonna make you happy. You could spend your time there, and then when you're done, whenever you have your shape, this is the ugliest little vine shape I've ever seen in my whole darn life. So hold on a second. Oh, this is not working for some reason. There we go. You can move it. I don't know. You can do whatever you want to, but whenever you're done, all you got to do is select your weird little curly, go to the Modify panel, and hit Detach Lines. And now this is gonna, when it cuts, you're actually gonna cut the image here. So it's actually going to cut that out. Now, if you don't do that, I'm going to hit undo. If you just keep, where is it? There we go. There we go. If you just keep it, if you don't detach lines, when you send it to cut, it's only going to cut the center, the main wire inside. Whenever you want to cut that, you got to go to Modify and just detach the lines. Boom. But this is ugly, and I don't like it. I'm going to make a stem like I made the other one. We're just going to do this a little bit, and I'm going to zoom in so you can see better how my stem is going. I'm going to double click that. I'm going to add a point here, but I'm going to make this a curve. So we're going to give our stem just a little bit of dimension here. Also going to do this, and you see how if I don't make it a curve, it's just a point. Make it a curve. There we go. At this point, I'm going to drag it out a little bit. There we go. And we're just having a little fun here with our stem. We're making it ours. I honestly, all my pumpkins, they never really have a stem like the one, like a wiry, weird pigtail stem. And of course, you guys can make your stems however you want, really. Like, sky's the limit on this stuff. Take as much time as you need to where it's going to be something that you're happy with. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to stick with this really kind of crummy stem. No, okay, I'll fix it up. I'll fix it up just a little bit. Get it kind of, there we go. I think I'm okay with this. And I'm going to fill it in for color's sake just so we can kind of see what we're doing here. And let's zoom out a little bit to see if we really like this stem here or not. I'm going to send it back just so you can kind of like, You know, that's not bad. It's not bad at all. Now, you can do two things. I can select the outer shape, and I can just weld these together. And now, boom, just a two-color pumpkin ready to go. That stem does look a little bit big, so I'm going to hit Control-Z to undo. And I'm just going to shrink this down a little bit, because that's kind of a massive stem. And the stem is centered. I'm going to select the outer shape, and I'm going to weld it. Boom! And now you have your very own pumpkin. You don't have to pay $5, $10, whatever to download it from somewhere. You could have your own. And also, this is really cool if you're creating your own clothing line or your own products. Nobody else has this. This pumpkin is yours. So you don't have to, you know, you don't have to, like, no one else is going to say, oh, that's mine, or it's not going to look like anybody else's. It's completely yours. Boom. Our pumpkin. So to recap, we've done a pumpkin, and we've also done our fall. We're going to call it our autumn leaf, even though, yes, to our Canadian pals, I did kind of borrow your leaf. Okay, let's go back to the questions to see if anybody has any questions today. That's our tutorial. And I hope you guys get a chance to flex your design muscles, because I know you have it in you. We got tons of creative people out there. And yeah, I would love to see what you guys are working on. And of course, you know, just adding a pumpkin or a leaf, they could change up your design. Like if you're making a t-shirt, like one of those Hello Autumn or whatever, right? I see those everywhere. And in fact, I'm just going to skip back to the screen really quick here. Right? Let's just say we have a really fun font. What's a fun font? There we go. Right, I'm just gonna, and I'm doing this really quick here. Boom. So we have our Hello Autumn, and you could put this inside of a, you could, you know, add a leaf or something to it, make it more festive. You know, so having your own graphic elements, like, let's group these together. You really can just do whatever you want. Like, it really does make the difference between just a shirt with a little text and, hey, you're adding some fun there. You know, I don't know. This is obviously not like my best work, but you know, it's a great way to decorate you know, shirts with font, you know, whatever. The sky's the limit, you guys. And I hope maybe that it's not just these two items that we saw today. I hope that now when you look at vector graphic elements, you say, hey, I think I could make that. That's really just, you know, this shape punched out of this shape and kind of morphed out a little bit. You saw today we use a lot of copy and paste on really basic shapes. So yeah, I hope you guys do something cool with it. Do me a favor, if you do, drop it in the HPN Creators group, heat.press/FB group. It's right there. It's our Facebook group, and it's loaded with lots of great people, great content, and it's just a good place to talk about heat presses if you're done talking about My Little Pony with the kids. 7 months of My Little Pony. My hat is off to you guys, all you parents out there who are holding it down for the kids. I'm going to do one last round of questions, and then I have to finish this beautiful cup of coffee. Death before decaf. Made that in Sawgrass. Okay, oh, that's a great question. Katie's asking, what type of file does this save as? So if you have Silhouette Studio, the basic edition, you can, or sorry, basic or designer, you can only save this as a silhouette cut file, which is why I was saying in the beginning, if you have a different cutter, you'll want to do this in that software or get like Inkscape, Illustrator, CorelDRAW. You could do it there. If you have Silhouette Studio Business Edition, which is a paid upgrade, of course, then you can export it as, I believe, an SVG or a PDF, and then you could use it wherever you want. But yeah, you could, you know, this tutorial, you could follow along with virtually any any vector graphic design software, and it should be totally fine. But yeah, that's a great question. Oh, yep, Jerry asking the same question. What program is this? This is Silhouette Studio. George Lopez is asking, is the showroom open yet? Unfortunately not. We are still closed to the public here at our Fullerton location. I'm here, and of course we got our warehouse being, wearing everyone's mask. I'm not wearing my mask right now, but I have one. I'm not wearing it because obviously I'm just at my desk. I'm talking to you guys. But yeah, we're all trying to stay safe here. And part of that is closing off the showroom to the public for the time being. Trust me, as soon as it's back open, I'll take this off so you can hear me. As soon as it's back open, we'll be sure to let everybody know. Let's see, we got any other questions here? Oh, we got our Artistry family tuning in. What's up, Artistry? Good to see you guys. Okay, great. All right, well, it looks like that's going to do it for the questions. Again, I hope you guys had a good time today, and I hope you guys and girls and everybody, I hope everybody is creating something really fun. I'd love to see it. Again, you can share it in our Facebook group. You can also share it using the hashtag. Let me pull that up for you. Using the hashtag HPN Creators. It's right there. Instagram and Twitter. If you just search that hashtag there, you're going to see lots of stuff, especially on Instagram. Lots of great projects by all of our great HPN customers. It's really cool stuff. Okay, that's going to do it for me, I think. I always say I think. Yes, that is. That's going to do it for me today. It's been a blast hanging out with you guys. This Friday, we have a tutorial for anyone who's new to heat pressing, and maybe you're like, oh, how do I do this? We're going to do jackets, sweaters, and beanies. So if you've been curious, do I have a sample here? I don't have a sample on me. If you've been curious how to press these kind of, maybe, okay, you got good at t-shirts, but you want to see how to do other stuff, trust me, you want to tune in for this webinar. You can register soon. Yes, I believe you can register heat.press/webinar. Go ahead and register for that. It'll be this Friday, 10 a.m. Okay, for reals, I'm going to stop talking. All right, I tend to ramble. Go Dodgers. I'll see you guys all later. Have a good one.